Welcome to Thursday Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Jessie Ott, the host of this podcast, which is all about beverage innovation. I talk with innovation pioneers from agriculture to glass. Thank you for listening, and be sure to subscribe to be notified of all new episodes. Welcome, everybody. This is Jessie, and I have Rick Hewitt here with Unicorn Distilling. How are you today,
I'm doing
Rick?
good, Jesse. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited, super pumped. I can't wait to try your products. So, where are you calling from today?
We're located in Seattle, Washington, so it's December here, week before
Seattle.
Christmas, and it's a little gray out, but summer will be here again soon enough, right?
Yeah, I talked to when I worked at St. Michel, one of the gentlemen I ran into he worked on the grounds, and he's like, "We live out here for the best 3 months in the world,
Yeah, it's true.
June, July, and August."
Yeah, we pick our peaks for sure.
Yeah,
Those sunny
it's
days
fun
at
out
10
there.
o'clock are nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've done a little hiking out there. It's fun. It's really nice. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Shinto St. Michelle's got a beautiful property there too in Woodinville.
Yeah, very fortunate. I didn't work out of there, but when I would go to the chateau, I got to work out of there a little bit.
Got
It's
to see
pretty
John
cool.
Legend there this summer. It was pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
they do
Oh,
a really nice
yeah.
summer concert series out there. It's always got great acts. So
You're right.
yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I have not been to one actually.
No?
Unfortunately, there's there's always a chance. You never know.
Yeah, yeah. During those 3 months of the year.
So yeah, during those exact 3 months of the year. Yeah, we'll put in as many concerts as we can on the property.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny. So let's get right into the brands. We have a slightly different format for the listeners here. Um, we are going to jump right into the brand for the first 20, 30 minutes. I'm excited today because we have some tastings that we're going to do. I even set up a makeshift bar. So we'll see how that works out. And then we'll kind of go down Rick's journey of how he got started in the business and some mentors and resources. So let's jump right in to the brand Unicorn. So let's start from the very beginning.
Yeah, well, I guess in the beginning it was called Twist.
Really?
We had the working title of Twist Vodka back when I was first kind of playing around with the tea flower, and a lot of learnings came from that. That brand, we were in a clear bottle, and the tea flower fades in sunlight, and that was kind of an issue. And the blue color was, triggering people to think sweet or blue raspberry or something, along the
Oh.
liqueur line, like maybe a hypnotic or something, when really it's just vodka or it's just tequila. And really it was that sunlight causing the tea flower to fade, that made us end up become a matte bottle that you see today. And really
Oh.
just drinker reaction when they were playing around with what we were calling Twist Vodka, was naturally, no, this is unicorn vodka. This is the colors of unicorn, and it's a unique corn vodka. And so we just kind of ended up jumping over on that. Surprised nobody else had really taken that moniker, and we're able to kind of take this category and kind of give it the label of unicorn. So
When did it start? When did it all begin?
I discovered the butterfly pea flower on a trip to Canada in 2018, and right around that time, a food coloring company here in the U.S. was petitioning the FDA to get the tea flower to become fully legal here in the U.S. And it wasn't until September of 21 that the FDA ruled on that petition. And so from 18, 19, 20, and really most of 21, we didn't exist as a commercially for sale brand, but we were pretty sure that tea flower was going to get approved, and we wanted to be one of the first brands on the market when it did. And I think the pandemic obviously slowed down that approval a little bit, and
Yeah.
other headwinds going on there. But when it finally did get approval, in the fall of in the winter of 22, we were able to launch the brand as you see it today, and that's been now around 2 years.
Wow. Okay. So how did you discover this?
The tea flower is, as we all know, very popular in the Empress Gin and Tonic. And I was up at the Empress Hotel in Victoria, British Columbia, and they serve the gin and tonic as kind of the house drink. They buy you a drink when you check in. Go to the the lobby bar and get it right, and it's a really cool experience. I drink more vodka and tequila than I drink gin, and my immediately thought was, this is really cool, but we need to get it into a vodka or a tequila. And so when I come back home, I've got a passion. I had a cidery before this and a brewery before this, so kind of had a passion of creating alcohol beverages, of all scales and things like that. So playing with the ingredient, and when you add the ingredient to almost any spirit, it turns purple. But if you add butterfly to water, it's blue. And so the rabbit hole kind of just got bigger there, and now I'm trying to figure out why is that. And it really figured out that it's that most spirits are actually already a little bit acidic, and so the tea flower is showing up purple, and then when you add more acidity, it's turning pink. But when you add it to just straight water, you get this real cool blue color, and that works better if you have a blue vodka that turns purple with soda water and then turns pink when you add lime, then purple vodka not turning any color at all when you add soda water, and then only turning color when you add lime. It's just a cooler experience. You get three colors and two changes, and that's really was the catalyst for doing our own thing, because we thought we were different enough from what Empress was doing with the purple and the gin, to just go do vodka, tequila, and just be our own separate thing.
Wow, that's really awesome. Yeah, I know that brand well. It's very good.
Yeah,
It's really gotten traction on the on premise. So it's and I live in Orlando part time, really Lake Mary. So we're kind of discovering still our little small town of less than 17,000 people. It's teeny tiny. But there's more hipster bars coming in here, and it's been on the menus, and it's in the menu in Dallas, and I've just had a lot of fun with it. So I'm so excited that you're kind of experimenting with it with different spirits. I do love gin, and I love tequila too. So
yeah,
that's super super exciting.
yeah.
So okay, so
Well,
when
before
you
we leave that
first
point, Jesse, I think that's actually the interesting
yeah
part about this experience is before for us to share a shot, we would have to agree on the flavor. Now you can enjoy your tequila and I can enjoy maybe rum one day, but we can still share the experience of the color changing shot and drink and cocktail. I think that's the cool thing that tea flower enables. That's the story we want to get out there, is how cool that experience is, regardless of if it's vodka, gin, rum, whatever. It's just a naturally cool reaction that the tea flower does.
yeah, it is really cool.
Yeah,
It is so fun.
yeah.
So when you first experienced this, knowing your history, did you expect that this was going to be your next big brand or the next big move? Were you that moved at the time that you thought, yes, this is I've been waiting for this?
A little bit, yeah. I think the learnings of when I joined craft beer, it was 2010, and it was really on the upward part of its hype cycle, and going towards peaking out. And as we can see now,
Yeah.
5 8 years later, right, it's a little bit down. It'll come back up to some point where higher than it is today, but it really got a lot of downward pressure from seltzers, right? And Angry Orchard had come out toward the end of my stint in craft beer, and the logic was that ciders are going to blow up next, and if cider juice is needed, it's going to come from Washington, where I'm from. We've got tons of apple farms over in Yakima. It's where 90% of our apple juice and stuff comes from, is treetop and things like that. Then there's also farms in New York, but it's not like beer and barley and hops where you can ship it dry, add the water on site, and make local
Right.
beer, right? The juice is only going to come from where the apple trees are. And so we thought, okay, let's jump into craft cider, and seltzers kind of came in and just pretty quickly crashed the cider party. And I wasn't going to chase trends as they were peaking anymore. And I had a
Yeah.
great experience with tech. I live in Seattle. It's a big tech hub. And got to be part of one of those companies that got to go become a unicorn on the stock market and be worth billions of dollars and have thousands of employees. But I was one of their first 30 or 40 sales reps and one of their first like 400 employees. And so it was exciting to be part of that rapid 3 or 4 years of just really fun growth. And yet I always had a passion for beverage. Didn't think I would ever get back into beverage, just because I, kind of chased a couple trends there, and tech was doing pretty good for me. But when I had that cocktail experience at Empress, I thought that was an opportunity to maybe create something that was a little bit ahead of where the market was going with the vodka and the tequila and the blue, purple, pink, and that could be something that could be its own hype cycle, its own new trend, and that we, maybe we all want to have a orange liqueurs and other things that have this ingredient in it. And because it's so new, I wanted to be the one who kind of pioneered the education to see where that could go. So
Yeah, no, good point. And what were the decisions behind picking a tequila and a vodka?
Margaritas, mules, and martinis, the most popular
Gotcha.
cocktails in the country.
Yeah.
And it's really, if we can make those change color, we're validating that the market wants not just gin and tonics, but all types of beverages. Could be non-alcoholics with lemonades and things like that. Could, go into foods, could go into cosmetics. The tea flower has been used in the East for, hundreds of years in a wide variety of ranges as a natural dye and a natural pigment because of its range. And I think that that might happen and continue to happen, here in the U.S.
Yeah, I think I think so.
Yeah,
Especially with the drink culture the way it is, and we are entering I think a heightened level of experience when we go to especially a cocktail bar. We went to our local Lake Mary social, which is really close to us, and we hadn't experienced it yet, and so we're like, let's go just get a cocktail and see what happens. And so I order this drink called bathtub gin,
yeah,
and it literally comes with a bathtub with a rubber ducky in it. It was the greatest experience because
yeah,
you talk about it, you tweet about it, you tell all your friends about it. You laugh for 45 minutes and giggle. Like
yeah,
it's really become a lot more interactive experience, I think, and that's I think to stay for at
yeah,
least a while.
yeah. Are you
Just
seeing, you
because
mentioned hipster bars are coming into your area? Are you seeing some of those like activity bars come through? Like I see like the axe throwing bars and like activity
Mhm.
based. We've seen quite a bit of that in Seattle. And I think plays on that same trend of going out and wanting a fuller experience and really trying to get a full experience in every way we can, from sounds, from activities, from our cocktails, and Unicorn plays into that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's like next level, you know, experience. So, how did you go on down the path of picking which tequila or which vodka
Well,
to
we're
use?
really kind of limited to working with unaged spirits for the most part. We would have the option, I guess, of a Cristalino, right, which has been filtered back to
Right.
clear, but we don't want to be competing against the flavors and the colors that come from an aged spirit. So, really, it made a lot
Hmm.
of sense for us to go with a silver tequila in that sense, right? And so, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the tequila is made from is a Blanco tequila. Blue Weber agave, we imported in from Jalisco, and then we had just a little bit of water from Seattle, which has got a great forest filtered water and a very soft water that we add. Just a bit of that to bring the proof down. And then we get it at 40 proof, and we have our tea flower in there, and then we're able to bottle it up. And because we do add that little bit of water from the US, it becomes an American made tequila, and it's registered with the CRT in Mexico and the TTB as such. So that's one of the unique things about having
Interesting.
having a tequila azul made here in Seattle is it's bottled and produced in the U.S.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
Yeah, it's
That's
you would need a reason
really
for
unique.
that, and the tea flower is our reason. But that gives us that option to bring just a little bit of American innovation into tequila, just like we did with vodka, and getting that to do the same blue, purple, pink experience, and really want Unicorn to become known for that experience and really known for the tea flower.
And what was your decision on going with corn vodka?
Personally, I like it the best. And when I talk about vodka, we all know it's supposed to be flavorless, colorless, odorless. Well, what does that leave, right? And it's really texture, it's mouthfeel. It's how does it hit
Yep.
your palate in terms of its viscosity? And corn is very middle of the road. It's right medium bodied. It's not super thick and chewy like a wheat might be. It's not astringent like a grain might. It just fits really nicely in that mid range. So if you are a straight vodka drinker, freeze that up. It's got a great viscosity to it. Sip it on ice, blue. It's a lot of fun. And I think that was the experience I prefer when I'm drinking vodka, not just in cocktails.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I'm not vodka certainly isn't my choice. Because I'm in terms of like bourbons or
Sure.
gins or whatever. My wife loves vodka.
Yeah,
I love martinis though.
perfect. See, we'll
And
drink
if
the
I'm
tequila and she'll drink the vodka.
exactly no, it's perfect actually.
But yeah, you
And what's
and
that?
then yet you can both still color change.
Yes, exactly. We can get the same experience together.
Yeah,
And if I'm gonna pick a vodka, it's going. I really prefer made it sorry, I really prefer it made with corn.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm from Iowa,
Yeah.
but going back to your texture and the creaminess and whatnot, for me, that plays a really major part.
And another thing
Um,
we're doing, is we are adjusting that pH, right? We put our products right around that pH of water. So you'll notice that is not, there is that little bit of acidity that typically comes from a vodka or really any spirit that happens typically, through the mash process that we work to neutralize because we want that pretty blue color. So if it is pretty blue, you should be able to notice it, it is a little bit more basic. It's a little less acidic in terms of flavor and taste, and that's really nice for just being able to add an acidic mixer and not have the cocktail become so out of balance. If you like pineapple juice and things like that with your vodka, this or tequila, this balances that cocktail a little better.
Yeah, that's another bonus for me. I have a high acidic tummy, so anything that I can
Yeah,
get to help balance that out is certainly a bonus.
yeah, yeah. A little
So
antioxidant
you're
tea flour. I mean, there's obviously not a lot of tea flour, just enough to diet, but it's better than nothing.
yeah. Yeah, I love it. Rick, you're hitting all my boxes. This is
There we
so
go.
fun.
Good.
Cuz it's all about me, right? No,
Of
just kidding.
course. Yeah, yeah. You're my concern. Absolutely. For sure.
That is really fun. Okay, so how many states are you distributed in at this point?
We're distributed in 5 states, planning to add a few more here in 2024. And they're really looking to build this thing kind of bottom up and organically and wanted to, to be discovered on social and brought into states with, excitement already kind of built up. So we're really looking at those places where we go for those kinds of bachelorette parties and bachelor parties and, good concert venues or cruise ships. We've been working a lot with Princess Cruise Line. So if you're taking a cruise, go on Princess and you'll get a unicorn cocktail. And those are the places and kind of really where what's leading our market expansion is as we start to pick retailers up. If they have a lot in Texas, for example, that might become a higher priority. Than say it's Chicago, where Illinois might become a higher priority.
Gotcha. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So you're in 5 states already and you've only been selling it for a couple of years. So that's pretty exciting, especially given, the context of the innovation and then, the challenges of getting picked up by a distributor. So you've got some great momentum. That's awesome.
Yeah, trying to
Moving
keep
into
it building.
2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be
Nice.
are you going to any of the industry events this spring?
I hope to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to.
Same here. Yeah, we're really excited. We're going to be going to the Wine Spirit Wholesaler one at the end of January. We're competing in their Battle of the Brands for the vodka segment. So hoping to do a good showing at that competition.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Well, is there anything else brand related that you kind of want to get into or talk about before we head over to the tasting?
No, yeah, let's jump into the tasting. Sounds great.
Yeah, you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. All right, everybody. Now we're back into my makeshift bar here, just for funsies. We're gonna see how this goes. Rick's being a really good sport here so far, so we are gonna mix a couple of cocktails. Do you want to tell them, Rick, what we're working on right here, or what our plan is?
So yeah, I've got the vodka bottle here in black. You've got the tequila there in the white bottle. And what's cool is that both of them, when they come out of the bottle, are going to pour this real pretty blue color, right? So I'll go ahead and put my shot in mine. And you can get it's that cool blue color, and that's what you would get if you have the tea flour and water. And so because I just have ice in this glass, we don't have any kind of color change. But as soon as I add soda water to it, which I'll get my Q's brand soda water, love my Q soda, and you'll see that I can get it to start turning purple as I add my soda water.
That is cool.
Right, and so now that I got my purple cocktail, I'm going to top her up here. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of lime juice. Forgive me for using the concentrate. I don't have any fresh stuff here today. But I throw a little bit of that in and mix it up, and it'll go pink. As you can see now, the cocktail's getting a little lighter in color.
How fun is that?
Yeah, and so that's the Unicorn Vodka Soda. Like that one a lot. And yeah, you can go ahead and do the same experience with your tequila soda, and we can enjoy our cocktails.
All right, let's do it. So we've got Butterfly pea tequila, 40%. All right. Color changing tequila. All right, let's do this. Oh! Whoa! How fun is that?
Yeah, we like how the blue comes out
Look
of
at
the
that
bottle. It's
color.
just like a wow. As soon as you see it, you're like, oh, cool.
It's really fun. Yay. Okay, so what do I do now?
Soda water. Just top that up with some soda water, keeping it simple, and you'll see
Okay.
the blue. Soda water has the CO2 in it, and the CO2 is actually a little bit acidic, so it's not right at the pH of water. It's a little acidic enough to turn it purple.
There it is,
Yeah.
folks. Right before our eyes. That's so fun.
Cheers.
Woo. Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers.
Boom.
So now, if you add lime or some citrus to yours,
Ooh.
yours will look more my color. But you see how yours is purple and mine's kind of pink. It's because I squeezed
Yeah.
lime in mine, and the color will continue to change as you add more acidity, up to a point where it just goes from pink to light pink to eventually all the way to clear. But that's why your drink's purple and mine's pink.
Well, if I add a lime, will
Yeah,
it change
it will.
color
You get
again?
one more color
Let's
change
do
out
it.
of it. Yeah,
That is a really pretty color blue.
yeah. And so really, it's that 3 colors and 2 color change component that makes Unicorn separate from the other products that are maybe using butterfly pea flower today. And that becomes, going back to, are you working to neutralize the pH that you're producing the raw spirit at? If you can do both of those things, you get the full experience.
I don't think my limes are quite good enough. Let me get
Some things have no.
lime juice. I believe you sent with
Oh, there you
the.
go. Back up. Sometimes it might just need a little shake too, but yeah.
Well, that's true. Oh, look, I got this handy dandy tool right here.
There you go. The old bar.
Modern mixology tools.
Yeah.
There we go. It's woohoo. Awesome. It's a little bit less purple, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yep.
Mm,
So now you can,
yummy.
know the color you like to drink your vodka sodas, and there's not enough lime in there,
Yeah.
purple, however you like to drink it.
That is so fun. Do we want to try any other mixes?
Please,
I've
yeah.
got some ginger beer here.
Yeah, use ginger beer. I like to do layering when I use ginger beer. So in this one, you'll use cup of ice, put the ginger beer in there first, and layer the blue vodka on top. Yeah.
Ginger beer.
Yeah, get the ginger beer in there.
I'm trying this Reed's. I don't know. Have you tried it before?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Cool.
Craft ginger beer.
And then go ahead and pour a shot of your vodka and pour that on top. You have your bar spoon?
I do.
Try to float it on top if you can. Or there you go. You're kind of doing it nice and soft. But then that's going to give you that purple and gold on how you serve it. See how it's got gold on the bottom there?
Oh yeah! How cool is that?
So we're in
awesome.
Seattle. The football team here, the University of Washington Huskies, are purple and gold.
Okay.
So we like to call this one the Montlake Mule. Montlake is the area of the water that the school's on. So that's for all the University of Washington purple and gold fans.
My high school was purple and gold.
There we go. Lakers are purple and gold.
So I resonate with
gold fans out there.
Yeah.
So that's a good drink for them.
So you don't really mix it then. You just have the purple.
The drinker will, right? So the bartender would present it, with the layering. You as a drinker can mix it and it'll just become a pink mule.
Oh, well, I think it's more fun to try it this way.
Well, absolutely. You feel free to play with your food.
I love playing with my food, especially when I'm layering it.
This is the adult version of playing with your drinks for sure.
Yeah,
if you want
my favorite.
Cocktail, we're probably going to be the fun cocktail.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a tonic here. So what are we going to make with the tonic?
Tonic's really fun because it turns everything pink instantly because it's super acidic and it's super fun. So in the same way that we just had a purple and gold experience there, you'd get a clear and pink experience in a glass. So if you fill the cup with ice and you put tonic in and you float the vodka on top, the vodka will be pink and clear.
Okay, so tonic first.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got our purple, gold. Can you see those? Okay. Okay. And then
Go ahead and float the either one, tequila or the vodka.
either one.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's try tequila. That'll be
Tequila and
fun.
tonics are
Not
great.
had that before. Oh, I need to float it though, right? You
Or
said?
just pour it slowly so you don't pour it all the way to the bottom so that it doesn't mix.
Kind of like that.
You're doing great. You see, I've got that clear bottom, and you got the purple and the blue and all the layers.
Whoa! Yeah.
Kind of wild, right? And then if
That
you
is super
mix it,
fun.
it'll be pink, but it'll keep those cool colors while you're serving it, and you can garnish it
That is
really
so
fun.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can, they're dark colors too. Like you can really see those different colors.
it's kind of fun to
How
know
fun.
where the alcohol is in your glass. You know, when it's clear,
Mm-hmm.
poured in there. You don't really realize that all the booze is sitting, in a certain portion of the glass. It's kind of
Hmm.
fun to know, like, oh, all the alcohol's at the bottom. I'm gonna make like
Yeah.
it's just
I need to stir it.
put the old finger in there and give it a stir. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't need a shot at the end of this drink.
yeah,
Um, I think that's my favorite.
yeah. Good. Yeah, tequila and tonics. I love it. Nice.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think it's my new thing.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
I'm digging it.
Yeah, unicorn sodas, unicorn tonics. Like you asked, why vodka tequila? I think that there's just a lot of versatility in vodka tequila with soda water and tonic waters and
Yeah.
lemonade and then the margarita mixes.
Did we hit all our cocktails that we were trying to
Yeah,
make today?
yeah, I think we did. You
Yeah.
could pour a straight shot blue if you wanted to, but yeah, otherwise you got all the colors there. You got blue, you got pink, you got purple, gold. So yeah,
Okay. Well, I'm open to whatever.
no, I think that's great.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that was really fun. So that was a fun little segment.
Yeah,
Thank you for your patience on this makeshift bar that I put together just a few minutes ago. Because I thought it would be a lot of fun to kind of have a real kind of
yeah,
cocktail experience. So we're gonna go back to the studio. So we'll be right back.
great.
Okay.
Okay, well, we are back here in the studio, and we are going to continue on with Rick's journey. We talked about the brand, the Unicorn brand, with the vodka and tequila. Mix a few drinks, have some really fun drinks made here with all the different colors that you can see with the purple and the white and the purple and the yellow. It was really, really, really fun, and we learned that it's a little bit more fun to layer it, so you kind of get the drink and the or the mixer and the tequila or vodka together, but you get the different colors, which is really fun. That was a really fun experience. So thank you, Rick, for being patient with me in my first time using the bar.
That's awesome. Way to go. I think that was great. I hope you keep it for future segments.
Yeah, I just improve upon as we go. So yeah, it was really great fun.
Great, great.
All right, so we talked about where you're calling in from. So where are you originally from?
I grew up in California, right outside LA in Ventura, but I came up to Seattle to go to college. So I've been up here since I was 18, about 20 years now, and yeah, definitely love the Pacific Northwest. Even though we do get, as you mentioned, quite a few months of gray.
Yeah, vitamin D for sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We take lots of trips in January, February to seek the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, it's always worth it when you're, able to be in the most amazing part of the world 3 months out of the year because it is really pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. It's peak your peaks, like I said. But if you like to ski in the winter and you like the boats in the summer, it's not a bad place to be.
So tell us about your journey in the industry. How did you get started?
I really got kind of swept up in craft beer when that was really kind of taken off with Ken Grossman at Sierra Nevada and Jim Cook at Boston Beer and the Brooklyn Brewing guys, and they're writing books and they're on TV shows, and it was really a cool both entrepreneurial story, but also I was somewhat aware of what was going on with the Napa wine craze in the 90s because I was living in Southern California and, it was pretty, just everywhere. Kind of my parents were into it and et cetera. So, I kind of saw that happening with craft beer and wanted to be part of it and was a little late. I mean, I was just late jumping into that game. And a lot of those guys started in the 90s or, in the early 2000s, not the late
Yeah.
2000s and early 2010s. And so, just a little late to chasing that trend. And any future entrepreneur listening out there, don't chase any current trends. Chase something new. Hope you're right.
Yeah, I think, we're in such a upward trending place, with, like you were mentioning, seltzers, RTDs, and now you have the low and no. I mean, I think that there's a lot of opportunity still, but some of it's going to flush out. I think, the RTDs probably peaked at this point, and we'll flush those out. Now we're kind of going into, okay, well, who's doing something unique like what you guys are doing, completely unique. And then, like I think the low and no has an unlimited opportunity. It's real early stages of that. So I think it'll be a lot of fun to navigate through that and see what happens. I've heard good things about a lot of brands coming up, and so I think that's exciting.
Yeah, we have a lot of choices, and that's what's the best part. It's a challenge, obviously, for the operators, but it's great to see it get competitive. That'll raise the quality threshold for everybody. And the whole premiumization of spirits, that we're seeing is not unlike the premiumization of beer that we saw, or unlike the premiumization of wine. It's just now coming to tequilas and rums and everywhere, and I think that's fantastic. I mean, the American palate, getting more elevated just in general, and just being able to explore so many more flavors and liqueurs, and just it's exciting. It's a great time to be a consumer in that space. Low no matter what. There's a lot of fun beverage companies out there right now.
Yeah, no, agreed. It's very exciting time. I mean, that's why I started this business a
Yeah.
year ago, because I first I said, okay, well, what do you love? And I'm like, well, beverage. And really, I to broaden that, I'm like, food and beverage together makes me very happy, and I love innovation. And there's never really been a better time to kind of dig your heels into it and really get to know what's going on out there. And that's something that's I've been so grateful for this year, is meeting people, Rick, like you, and the products that you and your team are producing and distributing and bringing to the forefront of our American restaurants and retailers. So it's super
Yeah.
exciting. I
Yeah.
love I
Absolutely.
love it. I love being on this end of it. It's really a lot of fun. And one of the things I thought about earlier today was I love telling people's stories to the world, getting your story out there. What can I do to help to raise the level of awareness? Anything I can do is where I want to be,
Yeah.
because it's just so fun.
Yeah, it's great that you have that platform for those coming up like us who, would love to shout from the rooftops what we're doing. But it's not as easy to find, like you mentioned, that audience that is looking for this. So, curating those platforms and bringing the two together is extremely valuable to the future of the space, because that's where the new cool stuff can get connected to the people who can make that actually real, and that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about a startup like what you're doing, you don't get distributed in 50 states overnight. It's a process. It's you got to get in with the three-tiered system. You got to get approved. You got to get, labels. You got to get I think the hardest part, and I'll let you talk about your pain points, but is just literally trying to squeeze your way into a distributor and getting some time, some facing time in those retailers. So within that framework, you just can't build a brand overnight. It's a kind of it's not really a slow burn, but it's a slow process to get there.
You're not wrong. That does add that slow build to it. It raises the bar of entry, right? Or barriers of entry. And a fashion brand, you can set up a spot, an account in a weekend and be selling product on Monday. And it just doesn't work that way in the regulated industries like liquor and or tobacco or firearms or in any of those heavily regulated industries, and nor should it, right? I mean, these are industries that you do want to make sure are built with a certain level of caution and a certain level of skepticism, and I think that's all fair, and I think that is just a level playing field for all of us. It is the barrier to entry, and it does take time. You're right, it totally does, and the real challenge I find is really getting that playbook fully together, right, on your sales, your marketing, and really balancing out that long-term spend versus that short-term spend. When you invest on going to an industry trade event, are you
Yep.
expecting that to ROI that month? No, I mean, not reality, right? You will make a new network there that over 6, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months might pay back, but it won't pay back necessarily there. And that's just one example of a trade event. You're doing that all throughout the business.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's definitely an upfront investment, and it takes time. I know, I've had a lot of startups, not necessarily startups, but early, brands that aren't completely distributed in all states, which raising capital, getting whatever route you want to go can be a challenge because it takes money to have the product and ahead of time and to kind of get those channels ready
You're not wrong.
for to just to start to turn, so I think one of the things maybe people don't realize when they get into this side of the business is that there's I interviewed Stephanie earlier. She's got Island Getaway Rums, and she was talking about like that's all she does. She's just literally trying to get investments in order to produce so that they can fill the channels that they're going into, which is, that's hard. That is a real hard
That's all part of it. Yeah,
part of the
sure.
business.
Yeah, getting too wide and not deep, and balancing all of that, and really finding that minimum viable audience is kind of the catchphrase that we use for that. But it's who is that minimum viable customer who's seeking you out, and how are you making sure that you're getting where they want you to be so that they can continue to support you? Because if you're a band not playing in the venues that your fans are at, then you're not going to have much of a following. And so it's kind of one of those things where we have to learn what that is and then develop the playbooks to make sure that we're both, approaching those buyers, but then also putting the right advertisement into that channel, because it's different for the bar that it is for the cruise line than it is for the grocery, and so you can't invest in all of those things at once. So you really want to find who's that minimum viable audience you're going after.
When you guys kind of started out, or maybe right now, do you have a goal of what your percentage of sales are versus on versus off premise that you're kind of trying to reach or are at?
Being that we're such a new experience, it's probably not what we would do with just any average brand coming out, but we're skewed
Yep.
much more heavy on premise. We don't need a dramatic number of off-premise locations storing inventory. We can just be at one or two of those really big players, Safeway, Albertsons, and the Total Wines, etc., to make sure that our customer can get a case or a bottle when they want to have a home party, or some kind of variation of that. But our primary focus is working on those places that are selling experiences, not cocktails. You mentioned the bathtub gin cocktail earlier.
Yep.
That's an
Mm-hmm.
example of a restaurant doing that, but cruise lines and movie theaters and stadiums and concert halls, they're all providing experiences primarily. They're looking to amplify those experiences beyond what you would normally have at home or at somewhere else, right? And so they're our most receptive buyer in terms of being able to approach someone and get bottles moved. We're finding that it's best to go to those large on-premise restaurant buyers, and they can provide the Unicorn Margarita, for example, across the 160 of their locations with some consistency, and they're bringing a new experience into those restaurants that they wouldn't have otherwise. And so it's a great win for everyone, right? They're able to provide added value to their Unicorn Margarita cocktail menu, and we're getting distribution with some consistency in how the brand's going to get presented, and the customer will get educated.
Yeah, and brands are built on premise. That's where you're going to get liquid to lips. That's when people are going to see the experience and then be able to replicate that at home. So I think that's really that's really smart.
Those off-premise
Um,
buyers, they can
yeah.
really consume a lot of inventory, and if the pull's not dramatic, you're really kind of kicking the can down the curb on in terms of some problems there. And I'd rather them calling us and us growing into those opportunities. Let's add value to the on-premise is kind of where we're focused.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Um, just out of curiosity, I know we didn't discuss this question ahead of time, but is there any key learnings that you had as you were starting out on how to kind of develop, just to kind of launch it? Did you just pick a city or a neighborhood and just sort of try to get a retailer plus like 10 or 15 on-premise accounts and just kind of grow from that?
Yeah, we were a pandemic built business, and so we were forced to digitally market. There was no bar or restaurant you could go to, and during 20 and 21. And so when I was building Unicorn in that early part of the brand, and I would say it's still pretty relevant today, you should get decent at the digital e-commerce platform first. When you're trying to sell your first $10,000 or your first $30,000 of your brand, if you can't get on social media and get people to your website who are willing to buy, you're you're not going to really have a good story for the retailer, right? But when you go to then those first big retailers and you show them your social media and go, look, I got 20,000 followers on my TikTok, I got 5 million view video here, I got a 1 million view video here. I mean, they're like, oh, okay, well, you do have a little pop. Sure, we'll give you an opportunity here, and you should then work to build, that base of 15 to 20 accounts that either have bought bottles or are willing to give you at least an email or text message saying that they would, and you accumulate that up together and use some insight about the market to then go start approaching distributors. And so for our story, it was March of 21. There was the Seattle Beer and Cocktail Week. We went to that and we poured our samples and really got a lot of positive feedback. And one of the most common questions we were hearing was, who's your distributor? So then immediately following that event, we were able to start reaching out to all these distributors with the social media following, fresh off Seattle's Cocktail Week, and saying, hey, we were at these events. We were getting a lot of, who's your distributor? Will you evaluate us? And so with all of that, they said yes at RNDC. And we were able to get signed by the second largest liquor distributor, in the country there. And that's really how we were able to get our foot in the door bottom up, without really, a massive amount of money and spent. Now we did have our little facility built, but I would say to my advice, my three things of advice would be: one, start on digital; two, keep your overhead as low as possible because it is going to take you a lot longer than you think,
Mm-hmm.
and produce in minimum viable, like as small as orders as you possibly can, but still be at a scale that you could still do. And that meaning you don't have a bunch of inventory that's screwed up should you screw up your first couple of batches, because when you're building a facility, and I've built 3 of these now, every first batch is a screw up. Every single one doesn't come through the mash tank right.
Yeah.
The cooler didn't cool the product right. The filters screwed up halfway through, and you had to I mean, every single time there's massive amounts of waste. There's massive amount of packaging default. I mean, there's just lessons learned in those first 2, 3 batches that you don't have to learn in batches 4, 5, and 6. And the growth curve is so steep on those first few that you want to just limit the amount. So taking it slow, taking it patient, only trying to sell 100 grand online over 6 months, with 50K invested. If you can do that, do that. That's the better play than putting 2 zeros on those numbers and then having 10, 12 million spent, product everywhere. And now you have to go land that A-list celebrity to get it to pull, or you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way. The brand's burned or not. And it's such a swing or miss. You hit a home run or you completely strike out. And there's just so much risk from investors there. There's risk from retailers there. There's risk from distributors there. Your job is to de-risk all of those things. So by building bottom up, by building modestly, by showing them patience, you actually have the growth paradox where you grow quicker, but it just doesn't feel like it because those first few years you're not spending 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures on brand building.
Yeah, that's really smart, and that's some fantastic advice, Rick. That was very methodical and really thought out how you guys started I didn't realize there was that much of a social media focus to begin with. So, what was your channel that worked the best, or what do you think helped kind of push you guys to the next level on that?
Yeah, and I think we're very visual. So the videos on TikTok and the Instagram Reels and YouTube, like short form video, is really great for our experience and our
Yeah.
story because we're bang, we're wow, we're fireworks in the glass, and then that's the wow, right? Like there's not 30 seconds or 45 seconds of story here. There is if you want the longer version, but if you're just trying to understand what makes us us, you can get it done in 30 seconds easily, not whatever, a longer form video. And so I think for us the short form videos really are great. You might find photography is better for some brands, and so that might take you more towards Pinterest or Instagram grid or things of that kind of nature. But it's really those big social media channels, and you want to pick one or two to get that minimum viable audience going. And I don't think you need to be on all of them ever. I mean, Empress is a massive brand in the color changing gin, top 5 gin brand, and they're really dominant on Instagram. But I don't think that, and I haven't looked, but I don't think they're dominant on like every social media platform, right? I don't think they're on Snap, for example, right? But you very well could find your audience there if that's where you chose to get you really good, And so I think it's just important that you don't try to pick all of them. You decide on the one or two that you're going to focus on getting good at. For us, it was TikTok. We got a lot of early success on TikTok, videos immediately going to 1 million views. Influencers would post, their posts would go viral, and they would grow in following as well. So it was really very mutually beneficial for everyone. And that was kind of where we found our earliest audience.
That is awesome to get 1 million views that quickly and then have celebrities repost it. That's awesome. That's that's a home run.
Yeah, it's killer.
Yeah. Do you have any mentors that kind of helped you throughout your career that you'd like to mention?
Specifically by name, I don't like have someone I would call on and call as a mentor, but I have learned a lot from a lot of the great beverage founders, up and down the stack, spirit founders. I would say that there's a lot of good information out there on YouTube and Park Street, and you can really get access to what's going on and the context you need. And I saw the podcast you did with Brian's team at Sprout. That absolutely is an incredible resource for someone who's just dipping their toe into alcoholic beverage. Go get that institutional knowledge. I mean, it's incredibly valuable, that team. So I would encourage people to just use those resources out there if they're looking for mentorships. I don't think you necessarily need it to be one person, right, or for them to even know you exist for them to be your mentor.
So. Yeah, no, that's a good point. What about any resources that you recommend or have used? And it doesn't have to be all business related. It can be, personal growth or, individual growth or organization or anything like that.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for good motivational books. A little Tony Robbins or a little Grant Cardone never hurts when you're, the road of entrepreneurship can be a lonely, hard road at times. So those guys can rah you up and make you feel like the world is achievable and these goals aren't unsurmountable. So I keep a good, healthy Rolodex of that on my Audible account.
Grant Cardone is fun. He's in his jet or in his hangar, and just you can do it too.
I just like his 10x.
10x.
Yeah. The big thing I got from him was the lesson that you could be doing the right thing and just not doing enough of it. He was talking about how he was like posting signs for like real estate, and he like tested with like 3,000, and the mentor like laughed at him and was like, "We test with 50,000. like 3,000 is like you could come back when you've done 50,000, and then you can tell me that direct sign marketing doesn't work. But you just haven't done enough of what does work. And so I think especially liquor sales, it's pretty simple. You got to go out, you got to meet people, you got to demo the product, you got to get people to taste it, the liquid to lips component of it. And it's not necessarily the most attractive part of the business, but you just got to do a lot of that. That's how these things are built. Is go support accounts and go help educate bartenders. Even once you sold the case in or the bottle in, you got to go in when they're busy and get their A team to care about you, and following up on, the value you're providing to them with the story or the product or, whatever your point of view is on how you're helping them and not how it's helping you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I like that. We've kind of talked a little bit about pain points, but do you have anything else that you'd like to mention? that you've been through, that you've kind of maybe even achieved, or kind of got through, that you want to talk about?
Just would keep emphasizing to the manufacturers in the room that your value is in the product you produce. At the end of the day, quality is your reputation. It's your ante into these distributors. It's your ante into the retailers, and it's the one thing you control that they don't. They can help you with placements. They can help you keep product, fresh and rotating and things of that nature. But garbage in, garbage out. If you're not getting good raw materials, if you're not properly pricing for both you and them to make sure that everybody's going to be able to have enough marketing money and sales money and overhead cash and all of those obstacles that you have to overcome, you really got to get product and pricing right. It's really hard in this industry to change your price or to change the reputation of your product. It's either good or it's not. It's not black or white and or gray. I think people, they put you in one bucket or the other, and then mass consensus takes over. And you really need to make sure that you're focused on quality at all times, because you're only ever as good as that last batch you sent them, and they can't control how quality that is. How good it is, and focus on that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you can lead a horse to a trough, right? You could get this social media post or whatever, but then to get that repeat buy, which is how you build a brand, is definitely quality in the bottle.
It's way easier to put good marketing onto a good product that has bad marketing. It's absolutely impossible to put good marketing onto a bad product.
Yeah.
It's just, you got to have a good product. At the end of the day, it won't go anywhere.
Well,
but if you got a good product with crap marketing, we can fix that. That's fixed.
Easy.
There's lots of marketers who know how to help you tell your story and get it to the audiences you want it to. That's not your value in the value chain. Your value in the value chain is putting those raw inputs together and creating something that really just wows drinkers. Because when you do get through all those hurdles, and that end consumer at the end of the day who's exchanging money for drink, they're the judge who's ultimately going to say, was this right or wrong? And value.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that's really good advice, and really well said.
Consumers ruthless. They just vote with their wallet. They don't even tell you. They just don't buy your product, right? So it's like you won't even know. It's a ruthless kill.
Yeah, very true. I guess it'll show in the numbers.
Don't do it to yourself, putting garbage out the door, because you're just gonna die.
Especially with the way brands are being launched now, with scouring the world for the best ingredients and high quality ingredients. We're past that point of happening. It doesn't matter if there's alcohol in it or not. I mean, you think about all the sport beverages and protein beverages and vitamin beverages and whatever else that's coming our way. But yeah, if it's not quality, people aren't going to buy it again.
Yeah, don't put the cart before the horse there, because you're just creating so many problems down the line then of either getting that product out or point of sale changes have to. I mean, things don't move quickly is kind of been the theme of our conversation. And so if you're not putting good stuff out the door, you're really creating a long-term problem that's not easily to just pull that stuff back out.
Yeah, and I'm sure one of the million views on TikTok, I'm sure says a lot to a distributor, but it's going to be the volume and the repeat purchases, I think, that are going to help kind of solidify that. Yes, okay, you've proven it's happening. Let's do this. And if you're with RNDC, that's great, because now you can kind of launch into other markets and or use LibDib to get started. So you got a win-win situation there.
Both have been great. Yep. Yeah, both have been great partners for us.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay. Good. Well,
LibDib is the first distributor we signed up with, and definitely key to that part of getting going on online. You need LibDib to get to those online. There's a lot of them, but those companies that help run your social medias, web store and stuff like that.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I interviewed Cheryl and got to learn her story and how she started. And awesome story, awesome company. So I'm glad to hear that you've had success with them. What is your outlook for 2024? I know you mentioned that personally you guys are looking to grow into more states. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or anything industry specific that you kind of are seeing as trends, or anything that you're looking forward to seeing next year?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, as we talked about, there was a lot of there's a lot of at that peak of hype or not, and we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's interesting to see what happens with RTDs and low nose and seltzers and things that are really kind of, what are they just going to keep growing, or which ones are we going to see fall, and then what are we going to see grab the hype cycle next year? Is it really rum? Is this really the year? It's been said for a few years now that rum's going to be the one that takes over for tequila and bourbon, and so I'm really interested to see what comes from that. Are we going to see a number of new premium rum brands, following the success of 10 to 1 and things of that nature? I'm hoping Butterfly Pea Flower obviously gets a resurgence in a hype cycle, and I'll be focused on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, mostly rooting for craft beer and the craft beer brewers to get their business models back stabilized and back to growth and profitability. So rooting for those guys and gals. But yeah, that's kind of, I guess, my read on what's probably going to happen from a macro standpoint in 24. For us specifically, these will be our first season of all these industry shows and award shows. So we're going to meet just a large number of people within the industry that probably don't know we exist today. And so that's really exciting for us to look forward to that in Q1 and see where those new relationships come from and where they grow to, and who we're talking about a year from now.
Yeah, no, I think events are you're so strategic in how you're approaching this. I think events are going to be a great next step in order to get visibility outside of the states you're in. Because an event like that, you're going to get people from all over the country and probably other countries in the world potentially. So I think that is great visibility. And then, if you do get some awards, then it's a feather in your cap to put on your website, to tweet, and just adds more credibility to the quality in the bottle, what you guys are doing.
Yep, exactly. De-risking the things for everybody is kind of the goal, right? And so yeah, winning that would be awesome for those distributor partners or those retail partners who might be looking at us through the window but haven't quite said yes. This is one more thing that can de-risk that jump for them. That's what we're working on.
Awesome. No, I think that's awesome. And very strategic thinking and methodical, I feel like. You must be German in your approach.
English, actually, but I'm an accountant by trade, so I am very process and analytically driven for sure.
My wife is very process driven too. It's a really good quality. Keeps you on track, keeps you on task, and in focus.
Yeah, bootstrapping the brand without a lot of resources helps with that.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't go waste money on point of sale because I don't have money for point of sale, so we're not buying $200,000 worth of apparel this year. I'll be excited about that at some point, but that's not in 2024's calendar.
No, I think that's right. I think you're doing exactly the right thing. So, are you guys looking at going to the Tag Spirit Awards in Vegas in March at all?
Yes. So Tag Spirit Awards. March. I'm planning to be in Vegas for the bar and restaurant show. Is that the same time as that? Is that? Or is it different?
I don't know. I don't know when the bar nightclub show is.
It's right in the middle of the month, the 15th, 16th, I believe. But we're going to be at the bar and restaurant show in Vegas. We'll also be in Vegas at the end of January for that wine spirit wholesaler event. Okay. Those are my two planned Vegas ones at the moment. A couple down in San Diego, a couple in Florida, all basically in those first 4 months of the year.
Yeah, they do hit kind of quick, don't they? Boom, boom, boom.
They do kind of come, yeah, bang, 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 and then you're into summer stuff, and then we're really going to be hoping to push new markets and focusing on Valentine's Day, on in through summer, spring, all those really fit well with our brand and the colors. And then, when fall and Labor Day starts to happen, that's when we go more into event mode and doing bars again and posting parties at bars and restaurants.
Nice. Is there anything we haven't mentioned that you want to talk about? Maybe your website or anything else that's brand specific that you want to mention on maybe how people can buy the product?
Well, of course, go to unicorndistillery.com and sign up for our newsletter. We'd love to have you part of our crew. Of people, and tell your friends that margaritas and martinis can change color now, and they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so any passions outside of work that you find yourself getting involved in?
Yeah, I grew up hockey player, so I still love hockey. That's my favorite. I go to the Seattle, just got a Kraken NHL team, so we're going to some games. But big fan of hockey. I have a boat here with my wife, and we love to do the boating on those months where it is light out until 10 o'clock at night.
That's awesome.
And then in the winter months, it's travel time for us. It's a good time to get out of Seattle and go visit either cold places that have skiing or warm places that just allow you to get that vitamin D break that you're not getting in Seattle during January, February, March.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
Yeah,
For sure. That's fantastic. Great story, Rick. I'm really excited for you guys. Again, I'm super impressed with, how you've kind of focused your efforts each year and how to grow. You're growing organically, you're growing the right way. I love your success on social media. That's really super impressive. To be out of the gates that quick with such high contact with different people. I think, with the different colors that you can see pouring right on video in front certainly is a compelling story to see online, right? Because it's really fun. So I hope maybe that's kind of help propel it too. I'm sure. Not trying to take
for
away
sure.
the creative minds behind the brand at all. That's not what I am
Oh,
implying
totally.
here.
Yeah,
But the
yeah,
brand is just so fun and so cool. And best of luck this year. You're gonna get out there and meet lots of people, especially Vegas. Everybody loves going to Vegas. There'll be a lot of
yeah.
people, and you'll meet other industry folks too that are in your same shoes doing the same thing, and you never know what could come out of those relationships as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to that as well for sure. Meeting peers going through the same kind of founder journey that we're going through.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, we can meet in
It's
person at one of these shows. I'd love to catch up with you. Is Naples close to you?
no, not so
Not
close.
so
It's
close.
more, yeah, I maybe six,
I know for
five
sure
hours
one of the
away, maybe.
shows is in Naples. I can't remember where the other one is in Florida. There's two, but I know one of them was in Naples. I can't remember which one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite. So if it's in Orlando, I'll probably be there as long as we're here.
Right.
I'll definitely try to swing by. But yeah, we definitely have to figure out a place to meet
Yeah.
at one of these events at some point for sure.
Please. Yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
For sure. Looking to stay in touch.
Yeah.
So great.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the time, Jesse.
Yay. Well,
Appreciate it.
yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, best of luck, and we'll catch up next year.
Sounds great.
Well, you know what? Let's not say that because
Yeah.
you're gonna be like in January, February. So we'll just
Okay.
say best of luck for the remainder of the year.
Perfect. That sounds great too.
All right, cool. All right, well, you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for the product. That bar thing was really fun.
Yeah, and thanks for giving us this
I hope-
platform and helping us new brands get out there. Really appreciated it. I'll be sharing this around to many people in our investor group and network, and they'll love to see that our story's getting out there. So thanks for doing this again.
This week's episode was produced by Fedora J Productions.